In 1968, I was 18 years of age. The 60s were a period of rebellion against everything. And I was an 18-year-old in 1968, and I had all that vim and vigor of rebellion inside of me. And yet I was a senior in high school. But I remember sitting at the breakfast table one morning, and my dad had gone off to work. And I turned to my mom and I said, "Mom, why don't you and Dad get a divorce? It doesn't look like you like each other. You don't get along. You always just bicker. Why don't you get a divorce? I mean, are you doing it for me? Because I'm going to college in a couple of months, and if you're doing it for me, I mean, Ann's already gone. Why don't you just get a divorce?" I think her response was something that would be typical of a woman of her age from the Depression era, which was, "Well, I could never do that." But I remember being 18 and looking at the way that my parents were together in relationship and thinking, I know how to do it better. I'm not going to do that. I will never get married like that. If I get married to somebody, it's going to be true love, and I know how to do that. I'd never had a girlfriend. I was 18, I'd never had a girlfriend. I was actually scared of women. I didn't know how to do relationship. I didn't even know how to ask a girl on a date. Luckily for me, women asked me out on dates every once in a while, so I got to go out on dates, but I didn't have a girlfriend yet. Well, I went off to college with this idea of true love. And I was only in college for a year, and during that entire year, I was still scared, and I didn't know how to do it, and I still didn't have a relationship. And then I dropped out of college, and I got into acting class in Chicago. I was 19, had never had a girlfriend in my life, and I walked into this room. I was surrounded by fashion models and actresses. 22, 23, 24-year-old women that were hot. And I mean, I'd never been around more mature women, not my age, and I'd never seen women who looked like this except on the cover of Playboy, on the cover of Vogue magazine, and here I am surrounded by these women, and they were hot. And as I started to act in the class, some of them thought I was hot. And so, for the next 3 years, I didn't think much about true love. True love was not really the agenda for the next couple of years of my life. I was having a blast. I was having a good time. I had a lot of good teachers during that period of time. Not all of them my acting teacher. I had a great time. But in the back of my mind was like relationship and how do you do this? And I did have a couple of girlfriends in Chicago. They were older and that was all great and everything, but nothing solidified. And then I went off to Hollywood. And I got into acting classes, and some of the most beautiful women from all over the country were in those classes, and they were all over the place. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like hot city everywhere I go. And so I started to have relationships. 13 years in Los Angeles of relationships. Absolute disasters. Ridiculous failures. I never had a relationship longer than 4 months. So here I am, 16 years after making this decision that I'm going to focus on true love, and I know how to do this. And it was quite obvious to me, I don't know how to do this. I am a miserable failure at this. What is this thing about true love? But I was holding out for it. I will only get married once, and I will find true love. And I'm really having a hard time with it. So I'm going to leave Los Angeles, and I'm going to go somewhere. And I ended up in Colorado Springs. And I knew the women will be different. Women will be different there. They won't be actresses. I won't date actresses. I won't be an actor. They'll be normal women. Normal. Different. 4 years later, still have not had a successful relationship. Heartbroken the same way it was broken in Los Angeles time after time. Heartbreaking, excruciating, lousy relationships. And there I am, 39 years of age, looking in a mirror, just going, Douglas, what's it going to take for you to get this? It didn't matter whether it was Los Angeles or Chicago, it's you. You. You're going to have to do something about this. You're going to have to make some changes. If you want this to happen, you're going to have to do something different. And so I did. I started to get therapy. I started to get help. I started to do inner child workshops and inner teen journeys and all of these crazy kinds of things. And I started to deal with me and my issues around my mother and around my father. And I went back to the core of what was the problem. And the core problem in my relationship that I discovered in one of these inner teen journeys is all I wanted my dad to do was hug my mom just once. Would you just hug her? Would you hold her? Would you ever be nice to her, please? I don't mean giving her a diamond ring. I mean hold her. Hug her. She's my mom. It was really hard for me to see that. And I realized I had spent all of those years trying to rescue my mom. And I finally got that one cleared up and I went, okay, I am not Sir Lancelot anymore. I'm getting off of my horse. I'm not going to rescue anybody because I'm the one who needs help here, not them. So I'm going to stop rescuing women. I found myself finally at the age of 39 in this lovely, funky, goofy, New Age church. So after the service, every day, after the service on Sunday, everybody would be hugging in the lobby. So, you're hugging this person and you're hugging this person. And I'd been there for a couple of years, and all of a sudden there was a lady that I hadn't seen before, this short little woman who was at church, and I'd never seen her before. And all of a sudden I just walk up to her in the lobby and I said, hi, how are you? Hi, can I give you a hug? Hi. What's your name? Deborah? I'm Doug. Hi. Nice to meet you. Hi, how are you? Well, this went on and on and on. Week after week after week. And every time I hugged this woman, I felt like I was being healed. It was very different. But I had a list. I had a list of criteria. I had a list of criteria that had survived Hollywood all the way to Colorado Springs. I had my list of criteria. I mean, are you with me on this? I had my list, and one of the things on my list was 5'8" or taller. I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry, but it was on my list. Okay, check off the 5'8". We're just going to let that one go. And by the way, let's chuck the list. Let's just chuck the list because the list is ridiculous. Oh, wait. There's one thing on the list. There's one thing on the list. No, I'm not going to let that one go. See, I was 42 years of age, and my biological clock was ticking. I wanted to find an incubator. I was determined that I was going to find an incubator for my little Dougie. So I started to get really, really clear about my objectives. When I would go out with a woman, hi, I'm Doug. Do you want to have babies? No? Okay, next. Hi, I'm Doug. Do you want to have babies? I was freaking these women out like crazy. I mean, they would like, that's a little too quick for me, okay? Because I was like, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm not even wasting 2 dates with you. So I started to realize I'm not having a very good dating system like here. This is not getting me anywhere. I'm not getting to know anybody. So I thought, I will adjust my language. Hi, I'm Doug. Can I buy you a glass of wine? Do you want to have babies? I was really having a hard time dating anybody because it's like, I mean, that was it. To me, that was it. That was the last straw. I will have children. That has always been part of the plan. I will not let that one go. That is just too big. I don't have to sacrifice that one, do I? So I finally asked Deborah out for a date. And we went for a walk in the park. And of course, we're walking in the park. And what am I not asking? I mean, I'm holding it back for 15 minutes. And finally, as casually as I could say it, you got kids? Yeah, I got kids. Oh, great. Well, I'd really like to have some kids. And her answer was not the answer that I wanted. Her answer was, I've got my 2 boys, Michael and Bennett. I'm done having kids. But we could be friends. I don't want to be friends. This time, I don't want to be friends. Well, we pushed this off. We became friends. We took away anything that had to do with boyfriend, girlfriend, relationship stuff, and we just became friends. That was out of the question. We're not going to be a couple. We just became friends. And slowly but surely, it was impossible for me to be friends with this woman because I was just so in love with her. And yet I wanted to have kids so bad. And I remember being at home one day and I'm just thinking, oh, come on. I don't get to have kids. This is a joke. Why do you give me this woman? And this is true love. I know this is true love, but I don't get to have kids. I am holding on to this one. I have always been holding on to something that prevented me from having true love. And I let it go. I let go of everything on my list. I let go of everything except the one thing that was important. This was speaking to me in a way I'd never heard it before. Or maybe I had, but I did not want to listen. But at this point in my life, I said yes to true love. And Deborah and I have raised Michael and Bennett together, and I got my kids. They don't have my face. Thank God. They don't look like me, but they love me, and I love them. I got my kids. I got my true love, but it did not look the way I had imagined when I had put it in a box and said, this is the way my life will look, and I can make it happen that way. You can't make your life happen according to decisions you made when you were 18. What that experience taught me was to let go. Just let go. What are you holding on to that is holding you back? You want to do amazing things in the world. You want to change people's lives. You want to make a difference in the world. And yet there are things holding you back. You're holding on to a picture of it's got to look like this if I'm going to change the world. If I'm going to make a lot of money, it's going to have to look like this. If I'm going to get married to the right person, it's going to have to look like this. Let go.